Am I audible? Okay. The delay, as we discussed, right? Rajiv Shankar is available with us. As we already said, he frequently used to score close to 130. At 1 year, he even scored 140 in prelims. That year, it even should help him even to get the he already got 4 jobs. For most of you, it might give a shock, but when he got the Indian Forest Service, that time still he is in job. By doing job, he cracked Indian Forest Service. And that to hear, most of us know when it comes to prelims, we think that even just to clear civil services prelims, it's a big task. But frequently he used to clear Forest Service. The year I met him, that he cleared prelims, he didn't even write UPSC civil mains. He was because he's that much sure about his main. He is Forest Service mains. That made him to get the interview. Even when he got the interview, that time also discussed related, and he got his rank. So if you have the level of confidence, you no need to bother about other things. Usually, when we clear prelims, we just think of UPSC mains, just civil services mains. He didn't write civil services mains. Even I shocked that time because that's the kind of confidence he got with respect to his service. Even I felt shocked. Even till date, I didn't share this with him. And the most interesting aspect I already told you, he is doing all these things by doing one or the other job, not just by sitting idle at one place and preparing for hour and years. So this experience, I feel, will be very much helpful for both the aspirants who just started their preparation. At the same time, those aspirants who are already going through the preparation, those who are watching both online and offline, this session will be very much helpful. That's what we feel. Why? Because we already made Rajiv sir to interact with the students earlier once. So we got the feedback. Why? Because next time when you start listening to him, the way he systematically arranges the things, if you just see the people, you'll get to know the kind of things he will be sharing with you. So we expect this particular information will be very much helpful for those who are especially preparing for the current preliminary examination for the year 2026. So with that, jobs he did. The first, the first job, he in the year 2015 he worked as senior section engineer in Indian Railways. Then in 2017 in metal metal steel metal scrap trade corporation. Next, EPFO. In EPFO, he got only 41 rank. In NABARD, that is in the year 2017. Then in 2021, he got NABARD. In NABARD also, he got only third rank. Then in 2022, he got IFoS. That means he never stayed at one place and just continuously prepared for the exam. This is what you need to understand. Continuously, he's doing one or the other job and he's prepared. So this must be an inspiration for most of the people. That's the point I would like to emphasize. I'm not saying that doing this many jobs is great or something, but it will be definitely great. Why? Because we're continuously doing job and still cracking the country's top service. So this we all must feel proud. So with that note, I'm welcoming Rajiv sir to share his experience, his strategy with you people so that it will be beneficial for you people also. Thank you. Right.
Good morning, everyone. It gives me immense pleasure to interact with you all. I just wanted to do this session for one reason because these are Okay, these are not going to be taught in any other coaching. Improved upon that. Okay, and then consistently kind of marks which I am going to show you. So next slide. Okay, so see, I'm calling this as my prelims journey, and the numbers will tell you the story. So that was the marks with which I was scoring. Okay, so just either I'm crossing the cutoff or I was just less than the cutoff. So then I have changed some certain things in my strategy, which helped me get scores like this. So in 2015, I was somewhere around 95. I missed the general cutoff by 12 marks. But the same candidate, the very next year, I scored 140. There's an instant jump of 24 marks. And next in 2017, 18, and 20, you can see the scores are somewhere around 124, 130, 120. Based upon the difficulty of the examination, my marks were always around 20 to 30 marks above the cutoff. So just to showcase what I have achieved. So in 2016, this was my mark sheet. 17, this was my mark sheet. 18, 920. So these are my marks. But though I am qualified for civil service means I didn't sit for it. Okay, because I am aiming only for the forest service. So what I want to emphasize here is like getting these marks. It is not an okay. A lot of thought process went into it to get these kind of marks and achieve what I have achieved. So what I want to emphasize here is getting these marks is repeatable, it is consistent, and the efforts are deliberate. So how did I achieve this? So I want to break down a few things. So how am I able to build this kind of consistency? That is one thing. Second, what kind of habits did I get of consistency? I think the screen is visible to everyone. Yeah. So I am going to break this into some 7 core principles, okay, which are key to my success. So the first thing is like understand this. This is the most important thing where the candidates will fail. Prelims is not a test of knowledge; it's a test of application. You may study 20 to 30 books. Okay, your entire notes will be filled with highlighters. Okay, you can keep preparing the notes, but it is of no use unless you apply it. Okay, so the first one and second principle are linked to each other. Okay, so you can read this, underline everything, memorize data, but if you don't apply, it is of no use. So I'll before going to second principle, that your preparation becomes real only when you test it. Correct? I mean, see, generally I see every year my own friends, for that matter, they used to enroll in prelims test series, attempted it, saying that they will keep dilly-dallying, saying that my preparation has not finished. I am yet to complete the syllabus. More and more you keep delaying it. Every year you get some 30 to 35 tests for prelims, right? The more and more you delay, you won't have the time to do those tests. Second thing is like if you are not doing, you are missing out on a lot of important and difficult information which is embedded in this test series, because every institute will put their own efforts into giving you kind of questions which are difficult in nature, which are tricky in nature, so that the candidates will practice and get them. But you are missing out on it. So what I emphasize is mock tests. Mock tests are not for marks; they are for learning. moment you start, the marks are your score. Don't see it that way. I have failed, it's okay. But I'm learning 60 new things which your competitor is not learning. The candidate sitting beside you is not new things which you learn today. So that's one thing. So most aspirants, they delay them, they avoid the test series, they wait for the syllabus to finish. What you need to do is you have to do exactly the opposite. So my strategy was every year you have a test series of 30 to 35 tests, correct? But one thing, what I have observed with UPSC is like it started asking questions based upon 2 to 3 years of current affairs instead of 1 year. Second thing is like if you have the present year's test series, you please go get the previous year 2 test series as well. So say if I have 35 tests with me, so I tests. So it is like see, now right now we are having 150 days. You should have reached some basically your knowledge whether I am going in the right direction or correct, right? So that is why every day one thing you need to be sure of is like be consistent. Okay, so that every day. So by that way, I used to keep a buffer of 15 days plus 105 days for the test. In case if I have some other work coming up, then I will skip it. I would do these tests in the buffer time. So tests are not to score. Okay, tests are to learn. You will learn 100 new things, and it's all in the mindset. You have to change your mindset from fear to that of learning. Then automatically your marks will rise. And third principle I'm going to emphasize is like previous year questions. I think most of you already know many, but also the question. Those will be just like that. So UPSC repeats pattern sometimes questions and always it thinks in style. So what candidates does is they analyze 5 years of question papers and think that okay we have done enough previous year question analysis. But what UPSC is a body which was in existence since 1927, right? So it has an almost 100 years of experience in asking these kind of questions. So I have seen patterns being repeated, questions being repeated from 1980s itself. So what I have, I mean, of course we can't do something like 40 years of analysis. So I have shortened it to some 20 years of previous year. So I used to analyze 20 years of questions, previous year questions, learn from them, and then I have shortlisted certain patterns. What are the different kinds of patterns? So even this pattern, like 2 options are correct, 3 options are correct. This was a pattern which if I used to ask this kind of question. So then it comes to current affairs. Understand this current affairs is not okay. So generally what we tend to do as candidates is like we go for a coaching institute's material, take 2 3 different coaching institutes and you will keep preparing for the no use. No use because you know whatever you know that you are consolidating it. But the scope which UPSC can ask is quite big. It's not limited just to 1 year, right? So that is why instead of wasting your efforts, focus on one current affairs magazine for the present year. At the same time, enroll in a current affairs test series, no matter which institute, monthly current affairs test series. That will give you 100 questions per month. So 100 questions are current affairs for the present year. And the benefit of doing my 105 current affairs. the past year and the year before that. You make a notes out of it. You have effectively 3 years of this. Okay. So it won't ask questions from last year, it asks from 2 to 3 years. Okay. So what I did, I used one current affairs. See, this is all to achieve. So that is why I wanted to share this with you guys. So I did 1 year of current affairs and one current affair test series for the present year, and 3 years of test papers which you are doing, they will automatically cover the current affairs spread across 3 years of time. So this saved the effort and it broadened my coverage. So the next thing, this is the most crucial thing. The most crucial thing is like how many questions should I attempt to stay above the cutoff. Okay, I'm not even concerned about cutoff. What I'm concerned about is I need 120 or plus. I don't care whether it is 80, 90 or 100, because no way it is going to cross with the kind of questions that are coming. It will never cross 120. So my strategy is either I need to get 120. So what is the magic number? So these are the magic numbers. If I attempt 80, I have to get 65 correct and 15 wrong. If I attempt 85, it can be somewhere around 67 or 68 to get 120 marks. So you keep this as the magic number. And in case if you want to increase the attempts, you can increase. You can So the next thing is like I have shortly zeroed in on this one. If I am attempting 90 questions, at least 68 should be correct. 22 can go wrong, and I need an accuracy of that. And but how am I going to achieve that? That's what I'm going to talk. So next thing is like what I understood is this one. You can't maintain the same level of focus on the questions which you have on the question number 1. You can't have the same level of focus on question number 100. So how am I going to increase this focus? That is the main problem where candidates fail. Okay. I want to have a body like a bodybuilder. I have to go to gym, lift the weights, body. With UPSC, what you need to do is you need to train your brain. Okay, lift the weights with your brain. So I am going to tell you how you are going to achieve that. So I built a system like for the first 25 tests. I have 105 tests with me. So for the first 25 tests, yes. How many are correct and how many are not? I am going to review my entire test answers once the 100 questions are done. The reason why I used to do it is simple. See, I told you here, I need 68 correct questions. Correct? It is like for every 10 questions, I need to have 6 to 7 questions as the right answers. So the moment I do solve only 10 questions and see if I'm getting without paying money. So that is why I used to do this. 10 questions I will solve. Then for the next 10 questions, if I am falling short of 6 to 7, I will refocus again, and I used to do. Automatically, the amount of quality will improve, and my number of correct answers will increase automatically. So then I used to do that. So for the next 25, I used to do 20, take 20 questions at a time and do the same thing. Okay, so this is like slowly just the way we will lift the weights from 2 kg, 5 kg, 10 kg to 30 kg. I used to do that with the questions. Okay, so in the last 30 questions, 30 days, all the 100 questions at one go. So this is a sheet. This is my own sheet which I had prepared. Okay, this is homegrown strategy. So, 1 to 10, 1 to 100, I used to make something like this. Okay. So first I used to answer 1 to 10 questions. Then I'll mark how many are correct and how many are wrong, how many I have left. So anywhere it falls 5 or less, then automatically I will be more alert. I used to do the next 10 questions carefully. So automatically it used to achieve the kind of accuracy which I want to achieve. Then I want you to, you need not in your small brain. Rather, what you need to do is you need to be more consistent. Be consistent with the tests. Once you have decided this is the way I am going to do, be consistent with that. You will achieve the results which you want to achieve. Okay. So there is this 1% principle. If you are going to improve 1% every day, by the end of the year, you would have improved almost by 99 times better than what you were on the day one. But at the same time, you are going to go back, but the depreciation is quite less. One increase is quite more. You need to understand. So what I want to say is this: I know you need not have to be exceptional to achieve. All you need to do is like trust in the system and believe it. And I emphasize this every time when I speak with the aspirants. They generally okay. Someone practice which is going to not be in a dilemma. So do I have to prepare for UPSC prelims next year? You should be sure on that day that I'm going to write my UPSC mains this year anyway. This strategy is going to help you. So I'm going to break down the roadmap how to achieve that. So first thing is mastering the subjects. So I have broken it to some 45 days for the stage one, in which the static subjects you can prepare simultaneously and do the previous year questions and start with the subject-wise tests. So, for example, initially any test series it won't have complete certified tests won't be full length tests. Some of the tests will be, and after that you will get tests, right? So then the full length test practice you can do in stage two. Okay, full length. So that is why I used to segregate the tests, like quality tests from past 3 years, segregate it. So if you are studying quality, simultaneously you start doing the tests. Okay, there will be generally institutes will give a kind of schedule. Okay, which topics are going to cover in which test. So based upon that, you can flexibly you can readjust or recap to practice what you have studied. And if there are any inconsistencies, anyway, those things will cover correctly. And then last phase is the simulation phase. Okay, just 30-35 days before your prelims exam, you can go for this. You'll be able to do that. And how to distribute these tests? So I will for the 25 tests I have given 30 days, 5 days of buffer, and you can solve some 10 questions at a time. Check the solution and make notes at the end of the day. So two things here. I used to make notes for both the questions where I used to go wrong, at the same time the questions where I left, questions which I did not answer. So that way I used to, because what I left, I don't have any idea about it or no clue about it. I used to leave them, and where my knowledge is incomplete, those are the questions where I used to go wrong. So that is why I used to maintain that kind of notes. Second phase is like for 50 tests, give some 60 days, solve 20 questions at one go, and finish all 3-year full length tests, and final phase solve all the 100 questions. So what is this plan going to achieve? One, you will finish 105 mock tests. 3 years of current affairs will be finished, and anyway, previous year questions will be covered. Okay, all the 23 years, and this one I want to emphasize upon. 3 years of current affairs, budget, economic survey, and yearbook. We do not. We read our economic survey. We read our budget. Yearbook goes for a toss because it is such a big book. Okay, so but if you follow this kind of methodology, then you will be able to smartly cover your yearbook, economic survey, and budget. Okay, that is a value addition which you won't get at other places. And yeah, this is also a very important point. Generally, think like it is observed. Okay, they have a well protected lifestyle. So you have to put yourself in stressful situations, small stressful situations, which will build your capability to handle anything. What this test is going to teach you in terms of and patterns. You will be able to recognize patterns and accuracy. And the notes is like an error log, just like a computer science engineers or IT engineer. Once they write a wrong code, they will always go for that. Where is that error? Where there will be an error code file, right? So in the log, you will see what are the errors you have made. So this notes is an error log for this strategy. So daily routine. This also I am going to put it for you guys. This will be mostly for the candidates who are full time. It is for those candidates. Okay. So generally you can wake up at 6 a.m. exercise for 30 minutes, and I have put broken study sessions which are spread around 7 hours. You may think that if I go for this kind of strategy, will I be able to study? Because I have a lot to study, but I don't have enough time with me. That is why I have written this. Okay, 7 hours you will be able to study, yet you will be able to finish the daily tests and write the notes. So what you need to do is like improve your skill, like 2 hours of test, and within 2.5 hours you should be finished with reviewing and writing the notes. Done. No need to jot down everything. What you don't know, you jot down that. Okay. So and then sleep. Sleep I have emphasized. You need not have to compromise on sleep because 7 hours of sleep is very much necessary to perform at the best level possible. And second thing, exercise. And there's a reason why I have put that. Okay, the first thing after you guys clear, it's for two things: for building and one thing as a bureaucrat. And it is believed that this one, a sound body, a sound mind resides in a sound body. So that is what you all are supposed to do. That is why I have put that exercise. Pick your poison and start doing exercise. So that's why I have written it here one more time, that the foundation of an effective civil service lies in a sound mind housed within a sound body. It creates discipline and it creates habit. So then I want to show some snippets from my notes. So these are some of the comprehensive notes which I prepared for Indian quality for myself. Okay, so generally it is like the fifth schedule and certain dicey topics which are very hard to remember. That is how I used to keep it in terms of that kind of model I used to do. Okay, and when I am writing about Supreme Court or High Court, most of these powers are fundamental rights for that matter. They are similar. Relatively used to miss out. That's why, for example, for fundamental rights, what are the reasonable restrictions for each fundamental right? I have made it into a table this way. So that helped me simply find out what are the things which are not there, and accordingly I used to answer better. And same thing for the Supreme Court and High Court. Where does the ad hoc judge come? Where does the I think ad hoc judge and I don't remember the others right now. Okay, so these are for job. See in this that the first one is nowhere correct. The reason for that is like because it is the based upon the your test series. Wherever I have went wrong, I have prepared that note from the test. It would be like this. And then for geography again, this kind of maps also I used to make for remembering better. Yeah. So next, this is for history. History, especially history, you will find go through this kind of rigor. Definitely, you'll be able to answer them with these. I can guarantee that. And finally, before I close the session, I want to tell you about this small thing. This is my favorite poem, The Invictus. So I want you guys to read it. Just read it for a moment. I hope everyone have read it. Yes. So one thing I want to, the reason why I have chosen this, there's a reason for it. Because if you know about life of Mr. William Ernest Henley, okay, he was given one of the toughest circumstances to live. Okay, he's someone who is suffering from TB, tuberculosis. His leg was amputated, yet his spirit says this: "I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. It matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul." The reason why I want to emphasize this is because this UPSC journey is something which you all have chosen. It doesn't matter how hard it is. You have to stick by it. Don't point fingers and say that I am responsible for it. Take full responsibility and strategize better, and you will achieve wherever you want to go. You will be there. Thank you, and understand this. It's not about falling or failing. We all will fail, but how we get back, that's the most important thing, right? Thank you, and all the best. I think I will take some questions if you. Hello. Yeah. I will take. He said, okay. See, what you need to understand about the ET. Okay. And if I move back to you, see, here I got 98, okay, 84. I'll tell you a reason why I have restricted myself to that. Okay. So the reason is, fine. So the reason is I need not have to aim for perfection when it comes to CSET. Okay. Because I mean, there's no point in myself exerting so much in paper two. I just have to cross 67 marks. Correct? Can you help me with that? So see, I used to generally target somewhere around 50 to 55 questions. Okay, these were my attempts. So about this also you need to go quite logically. Like for instance, just so see, I used to answer somewhere around 50 to 55 questions, not beyond that. Okay, so my target was, and it's not very high accuracy in this. Okay, so out of this 55, so my accuracy is around 63 to 64% is the accuracy you need to clear this exam. So see, if I'm doing 55 questions, out of this 35 can be correct, 20 can go wrong. So 35 correct, it will give me a score of 87.5 minus how much? Hmm? Okay, minus 16.67, which will approximately give me 70 marks. So that's all. Be very logical about it. Okay, and one thing, what I will emphasize few things here. Uh, you are a candidate who is from engineering background. Focus on doing mathematical questions. Okay, more than 1 minute on this question, and very simple. You have all you need to do is you have to do 50 to 55 questions, right? But the time you have in your hand is 120 minutes, correct? So there will be questions. You restrict your time to 1 minute. Okay, and there will be linked questions. Just see if you are able to, suppose if you generally we think that you are able to solve this problem, be able to answer 2 3 questions at one go. That is where we generally try to strategize. But here the catch is like, just see whether you are able to do the first question correctly or not. If you are not able to do that, and if you are missing the target, then don't be emotionally attached with any question. Move on to the next one. That is what I would advise. Second thing is like coming to the English. Though the cutoff will 67.5 cutoff is simple. What had happened is like earlier, if you see the past years, from 2013 used to be like UPSC used to give one comprehension and 3 to 4 linked questions used to be there. But over the years, it started giving one comprehension and one question. So that is a very smart way of restricting that number who goes to the next level. So you need to ice. This is something, don't go for sub-vocalization. The moment you try to sub-vocalize it, okay, but to comprehend it, what candidates tend to do is you sub-vocalize it. You're slowing yourself down. For that, see, your eyes can very easily cover about 2 to 2.5. Okay, and to answer comprehensive questions, your understanding, you need not have to be 100%. You need not have to be 20%, 70 to 75%. And you have to read with your eyes. Okay, the moment you stop this, and only with your eyes, if you are practicing, then you accuracy is quite small. It's only 64% accuracy I need to achieve to get where I want to be. And also you have 80 questions. You can drop some 25 questions. You are not even attempting. You are dropping very hard questions. Okay, I'm seeing this. Okay, I don't need this. Move on to the next one. Find out which are the easier questions for you and do those things. And for English, like I said, try to read with eyes there. Okay. And regarding candidates coming from arts background, see, naturally you will be more inclined to do English-based questions compared to math. No harm in that. But decide how much time you are going to spend on it, and it's absolutely up to the candidate. Any other questions you have, you're free to ask. There is no strategy for note making. Like I said, you just go to your uh, yeah, that is what the daily routine is all about. There is it. Daily routine. Still, you can talk with your families and friends and sleep for 7 hours. Still write the tests and review the tests. You have enough time. And I'll tell you my own journey. If you're worried about time, I'll tell you my own journey. When okay, the grind used to be so hard for me because in Nabad the work is very hectic. That's where I was posted. So I used to go to office at 9:30 in the morning, and my work used to be over by 8:30 in the night. Okay, and by the time I used right, I used to start. It's not. I'm not even faking this. Okay, this is truth. What I have done between my prelims and quiz. For 70-75 days, I have done this. Right. 10:30 in the night, I used to go back, and I used to study till 2:30 to 3 in the morning. Four and a half hours I used to study. That's the only time I used to get. And 3 o'clock I used to sleep. 8 o'clock I used to wake up, and by 9 I am back in my office. 9:15 I am back in my office, and from 9:30 I'm working. Okay, and you won't believe the day before my say this because that is the greatest kind of compliment I got from my chief general manager and general manager when I'm leaving award. Okay, we are very happy to see him go to new places because we know he never compromised his duty when it comes to his personal goods. In, you're free to ask anything. Newspaper reading. Okay. So anyway, your see newspaper reading. If you like I said, this is the time you are having. Don't spend more than 25 minutes. Enough. You can fit into any of the breaks. The morning I have deliberately given a lot of time. 6 o'clock, if you are waking up half an hour, you still have 1 hour left with you. Okay, you are free to do what you want to do. And see, again, there will be some gaps in between. Half an hour gap is there between study sessions. Okay, and lunch, half an hour, again, there will be gaps here. I have deliberately kept those gaps. And it's up to you how you are going to use it. Okay, and see, one thing I'm emphasizing is like, I have cleared other sets of exams when I'm preparing for this. And UPSC is one such exam. If you master this, you can master anything. And it's very easy to crack. Only thing is like you have to shift how you are going to prepare for the other exam. And this has a long-term orientation. Like long-term orientation in the sense, your width is more, area of coverage is more. But the width is less. Okay, but the amplitude, how much depth do I need to go in short period of time, that is. So you have to cover about some 5 to 6 months of current affairs and reading for. Okay, but broadly covered. Magazine. Well, it's an personally, I'm being very frank with you. I have used multiple. For example, I used to I take personalized campus magazine because it depends on technical specs. Also, a lot of work. I used to prefer a magazine which had less number of pages. When I had enough time and brains, it entirely depends. Once you join service, the training will be like that. Okay, 5 o'clock you are supposed to wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning and go for a run. And exercise is compulsory. And after that, you will be engaged. The very reason they keep you engaged is because after once you get into service, your life will be busy. Okay, and there are certain tools for us in forest service, wildlife technique tools, where we used to go get up 5 in the morning, go for some kind of in the afternoon. We used to come back, have a break of some 1 hour or 2 hours break in between. Again, we used to go back to field, and you won't believe. So 7 we used to return back, 1 hour break, and then by 9 o'clock we are back for night battle. Okay, and next day you are supposed to come back for duty at 5 a.m. So this is the grind you will have. So that is why choose your passions. Go based upon your passion. Yes. Anyone else? But yes. See, I am not writing everything. I am writing only the facts I do not know or I have mistaken. So you can reduce it. Okay. See how many you will. I am doing, 45 I am leaving, 45 I am going around. So this 45 plus another 10 which I have left. Okay, so these are the 55 questions. In this, you just read it. While reading, like I said, forget subpopulation. Read it. Okay, then you will know where you are. What is the fact which where you have gone wrong. That fact you just that will reduce your time to 2.5 hours. Okay, and you have to understand that even while I may not be able to do all the study sections well, but this I never skipped. No matter whether I have time or no time, I used to do this daily test and 2.5 hours of note making I did. Okay, and in the end, what you can do is like keep a track of the scores. You yourself will be able to see how your scores are improving over a period of time in different subjects. Okay, if they are subjective tests, you will be able to see that, and if it is improving over, yes, just go for this. Yes, yes, there are coaching institutes. I have observed it. There will be one test on economic survey and one test on yearbook. Yearbook, the test itself. I have 100 plus things ready to go. And for the budget and economic survey, anyway, the summary will come, right? So summary you read and then you try to. What I'm trying to say is this: or reinforce it through doing. Anything else? Okay. Thank you for your time. So